And man, no matter where I put these Zoom things, they're in the wrong place when I try to do something else. Let me try to pan and zoom. Let me zoom out. And it's even at maximum zoom out, it barely fits. I'd have to do a lot of resizing and fitting in, but I've started to get a basic picture of the plot line told in this. Now, obviously, this is mapping an existing plot. Let's sneak ahead to what we will be talking about later, which is zoom back to 100%, is because I mentioned that these are kind of like flowcharts, we could talk about alternate plots. So we have smog laying waste. No, not the map there. So the condition on this is dwarves dead. But let's suppose we're going to have the audacity to rewrite a classic that has been around for, I think, longer than all of us have at this point. We have the audacity to say dwarves wage war. And we say that we're going to say that this path is the case of a counterattack. Now, because of my experience with these diagrams from software development, you'll notice I'm putting square brackets around these labels on these arrows. That means it's a condition. In the condition where the dwarves make a counterattack, we go into waging war, and then I could go and design an entirely separate plot off of that branch, off of smog laying waste. In the condition where the dwarves are dead, this is what happens. But in the condition where they counterattack, this is what happens. And so it lets me think about what the story might have been. In my book, I call these Murphy points. I draw the basic plot of how it ought to go if the characters are getting everything their way, or the way it kind of linearly is in my head is this path through all these steps. And then the Murphy game is I look at every single one of these steps and ask myself, what could go wrong? And if you're a writer, you can imagine something could go wrong at just about every step. And then I ask, is that interesting? So settling under the mountain, what could go wrong is, they find the Arkenstone early and an entire dwarven feud breaks out over control of the Arkenstone, and we never get around to the story of the dragon because we're so busy with this story of the dwarven civil war. So using these as a thought process as I model the story for design purposes is a really cool way of not committing to any one path before I thought of, could I make this story better? Orson Scott Card has an exercise he likes to run the students through. If you've been at Writers of the Future workshop, you may have seen this. If you're going to the workshops in the future, you may see this. And I'm sure he has a name for it. And I just don't remember what it is, something like 1,000 stories. And he does this with audiences. He loves to do this, especially with school kids, because he's trying to get them excited about storytelling early, where he says, again, he calls it something like 1,000 stories. I just think of it as, no, go deeper, because that's what he keeps telling them. So he says, okay, we're going to tell a story. So who's the story about? And because it's a bunch of young kids, there's a reasonable chance they're going to say something either they've seen in a story or something for their lives, such as a kid. No, go deeper. Tell me more about the kid. A teenager, okay, go deeper. A teenage girl, go deeper. A girl who's a babysitter. Oh, okay, so she's got something she's doing. So she's babysitting. Yep. No, go deeper. She's babysitting a brat. Okay, go deeper. Well, she's babysitting a brat who's trying to burn the house down. Well, no, go deeper. She's babysitting a brat who has set the house on fire already. Oh, okay. So what she's going to do about that? She's going to call the police. No, go deeper. Make it harder for her. His whole point is to take generic ideas, and there's nothing wrong with generic ideas as idea seeds, but start saying, what if it's more complicated than that? Go deeper. And he does this with them for 20 minutes. And at the end of 20 minutes, they have a really complex little story that none of them had imagined beforehand, because they're doing modeling, only they're not doing visual modeling, they're doing verbal modeling. But one of the big advantages of modeling, which is one of the big reasons why a lot of people outline, is it lets you explore paths quickly and reject paths quickly. If I make a model of a jet to put in a wind tunnel, it's going to take me, if I'm a really skilled modeler trying to do a really good job, it might take me weeks to a month to build a really good model of that jet. If I want to build the actual real jet, it's going to take me 3.5 years, not counting all the committee meetings and design reviews and government regulations and. So the benefit of an outline of a model is you can explore ideas quickly and find ones that interest you. That doesn't mean you're tied to those ideas when you start doing the actual work, but it's sort of a scouting expedition that you have been able to go through and scout out possibilities and quickly eliminate obviously wrong paths. Now, as a confirmed pantser, my general approach is almost the exactly opposite approach. If I took a path, it wasn't wrong. That path is the story. I didn't know what it meant at the time, but that path for me is the story. In my third book, The Last Campaign, I proudly posted a review that I got. I think it was from Library Journal. It was from a fairly respectable journal, from a respectable reviewer who talked about my meticulously plotted murder mystery. And I did not object. I did not complain, but I laughed my head off, because there was literally a point in that book, roughly kind of in the middle, where I said to myself, Rosie's having too much good luck. Rosie is the chief of police of the Maxwell City on Mars. Rosie's having too much good luck. Things are going too easy for her. Readers don't sympathize when a character's having things easy, and the story gets over too soon if things are easy. Readers sympathize when there are challenges and surprises that don't fit with anything that they were expecting. And so I need something. What I really need is at this point in the story, I need another murder. It wasn't a plan. It was, I need another murder. Okay, who can I kill? Well, it has to be, this is to me a principle of mystery writing in general, is you can start with a murder of somebody that has no particular importance to get you in, but murders later on have to be someone that are significant to the reader. If it's going to be a complete stranger, then figuring out who that stranger is and how they're connected had better be a big part of the mystery. But I wanted to murder somebody who was important to the reader already, important to the plot. I said, well, I can't kill Rosie. She's my protagonist's first person. I'm stuck with her, and I don't want to kill her off. I can't kill Nick, her husband, even though sometimes I feel like he deserves it, because if I do that, 1,000 readers are going to string me up, because as difficult as the man is, readers love him. I can't kill this. I'm going through all these reasons for people I can't kill. And then I said, wait, I could kill this guy. And I said, you can't kill him. He's the red herring. All the readers at this point are going to think he's the murderer. And I said, yeah. So if I kill him, all their favorite theories have just been tossed over and they've got to start over again. And I killed him in a scene. Rosie doesn't know why he's dead. The readers don't know why he's dead. And I don't know why he's dead. But that was my story going through. And eventually his death became the crucial clue to the final climactic scene of the book. But I didn't know it at the time. That's typical Pantser. The outliner theory, though, is that you can go through 100 bad paths in less time than it takes to finish the one good one. So go through the bad paths, figure out why that's not where you're going, and end up with the one you really kind of like. So you can use these plotting diagrams as a way to trace alternate paths through what you're working on. Questions on the plotting diagram?